Okay. On this beautiful, bright, sunny day, you can set up right here. I'll get you a couple of blocks, a strap, and here's anyone need a knee pad? Okay. A strap. Yeah, we need straps. Anyone else need? Okay, so there's your, all right. So before we actually get into our movement part of our practice, I want to do a little centering and build our practice around a really beautiful, very, very beautiful mantra that I learned from my teacher. And I think it's a mantra that seems to feel apropos right now on this radiantly sunny day, but also at a time that we're moving into, we've just gone over that shift from the daylight savings time into what it called standard time. And it feels like we can really feel now that the days are shorter, feel a lot shorter. So come into your yogic seat, long spine, roll the shoulders back and down, let the crown lift to the sky. And settle in whether you're sitting cross-legged on your blanket or in a chair. What's important is that we just invite that long, lengthened spine. And I invite you to place your hands right in the center, the heart center, all right, in the center of the chest, palm over palm. And just let your eyes close for a moment. And just feel that place right in the center of the chest as being energetically a sense of radiance. And the mantra is a very ancient Sanskrit mantra, Aditya Hridayam Punyam, Sarva Shatru Vinashanam. Aditya Hridayam Punyam, Sarva Shatru Vinashanam. And what my teacher Ramdas said about this mantra, he said, loosely translated, it means the being who keeps the sun in your heart. For the being who keeps the sun in your heart, all evil vanishes from your life. That is when you remember the Atman or the Buddha or the place in your heart, the being, the inner guru, the light that comes from your own heart. Then you no longer live with that which takes people from spirit, from divinity, from God, or what you want to call it, your inner divinity. Because all you see is that divinity and that which brings you to it. So when you use this mantra, Aditya Hridayam Punyam, Sarva Shatru Vinashanam, you are inviting that sense of connecting with the inner light, the sun that shines in your own heart. And your heart becomes like 1,000 suns, and the light pours out from you, from the heart center. It's actually a mantra that was given to Lord Rama from the epic story, the Ramayana, and the great king, Lord Rama, is about to go into a battle with a demon king. And a great sage gave him this mantra, Aditya Hridayam Punyam Sarva Shatru Vinashanam. And he said what this mantra means is, if you keep the sun in your heart, all evil will vanish and you will be victorious in battle. You will know happiness and wealth and health and well-being. Just take a few moments to deepen your breath and breathe right in and out of that center, that place right in the center of the chest. One quality of the sun is that it shines indiscriminately upon all beings, everyone, everywhere. So when we connect with the sun in the heart, we are invited to go beyond the egoic mind, that part of our mind that keeps us in divisiveness and discord. And another quality of the sun is that it is an ever abundant, a continually renewable source of radiance. So that the sun in the heart is always shining, even when our mind clouds our awareness. So as we are moving into the dark time of the year seasonally, approaching the winter solstice, and we're also poised at the threshold of a collective social, cultural, political battle of sorts. This mantra, Aditya Hridayam Punyam, Sarva Shatru Vinashanam, reminds us to keep the sun in our hearts and we will be victorious. This mantra invites us to cultivate courage, determination, and confidence. And it uplifts us during dark times and it elevates one from self-doubt and despair. So I'm going to invite you to say that mantra with me as I repeat. The first part is Aditya Hridayam Punyam. Try that. Aditya Hridayam Punyam. Sarva Shatru Vinashanam. Sarva Shatru Vinashanam. And together, Aditya Hridayam Punyam. Sarva Shatru Vinashanam. One more time together. Aditya Hridayam Punyam. Sarva Shatru Vinashanam. Keep the sun in your heart and you will be victorious, courageous, and all goodness will come to you. Taking a deep breath in, those of you who wish to can join with me in the sound of Om. Taking a deep breath in. Let the eyes open with a soft focus, and I invite you to come to standing. So if you have your chair, you might just want to move it to the back of your mat or fold up your chair. I just want to do some standing postures today. We're going to do a standing warm-up. Feels warm in here. Coming to your mountain pose, feet hip-width apart. Just take a moment to root down, your tailbone down into the earth, feet, toes point straight ahead. Find a neutral pelvis. You're going to tuck your tailbone under so the low back lengthens. Lift the lower ribs away from the pelvic bowl. So you've got a little bit more space in your belly for a little bit more room for deep breaths. Shoulders back and down, heart open, radiant open heart, palms turn open. Back of the neck is long and crown of the head lifts to the sky. So you find your own heart center as being that meeting point between earth and sky. And then we'll begin with some sun breaths. Big breath. Arms reach and rise. Reach out to the horizons. Turn the palms up. Reach to the sky. Reach through right. Reach through left. Exhale, bend the knees, round the spine, chin to chest. So here we're just deepening the breath and syncing up our movement and our attention and our breath. Find a little contraction in the back of the throat. So you slow down your breath and you feel a whisper sound in the back of the throat. It's known as the Ujjayi breath. Slows down the breath, warms up the breath. Try to get a little bit longer, reaching up to the sky, but drop the shoulders down. Keep the navel drawing in and up. Exhale, get a little deeper into a squat, chin to chest. And on the next exhale, stay in a gentle squat and bring your hands to your thighs. And we'll take it into standing cat-cow. So I'm going to just turn sideways so you can see the movement of my spine. The heart opens, the shoulders draw back, stick your tailbone back to lengthen through the front of the torso. Exhale, round chin to chest. Bring the nose toward the pubic bone. So you're taking those opposite movements of flexion, extension, standing cat-cow. And get the shoulders involved in that movement as well. So on that exhale, the shoulders come forward as the chin tucks to that notch at the base of the throat. And as you inhale and open the chest, really draw those shoulders back. So inviting a full range of motion in the spine and taking these essential 6 movements of the spine. Long breath, slow down your breath. And on the next inhale, arms reach and rise and interlace your fingers, point your fingers to the sky, upper arms in line with the ears. Exhale into your standing half moon. So reaching your fingertips out to the right, press your left hip out to the side. Inhale up to center and other side. Just breathe space. The whole side body on your right side now. Inhale up to center, float the arms down, chin to chest, and we'll take one more on each side. You can stay with that steeple pose mudra, or you can grab opposite wrist if you prefer that, or even keep one hand on the hip, just inviting that whole side body to open. Inhale up to center, exhale, release, and then take the other side. Either hands around wrists or one hand to hip, just to expand to that side body and release. One more each side on your own. Let the ribs smile open. So we're taking those side movements, side flexion. Inhale up to center, float the arms down. Roll the shoulders. And make a little noise. Let the breath release anything that might be you're carrying around on your shoulder today. Yeah, really make a little noise. Try rolling forward. And then here, take a block and bring it. You might want to just have your blocks so that they're easily grabbable. And you can take one of your blocks and just put it in front of your feet. So from your mountain pose, interlace your fingers. And once again, opening the heart, perhaps touching back again in the quality of that mantra, Aditya Hridayam Punyam Sarva Shatru Vinashanam, keeping the sun shining in the heart. Big breath in, lift the hands so that they get a little bit further away from your low back and toward the back of your mat. If you want to use your strap, you can use that with a little space in between your hands if you need that. Wide open, radiant, courageous heart. Big breath in, and then generously bending the knees, fold over the legs so your belly and your thighs stay connected. Hands to the sky. Crown of the head reaches to the earth. Reach up with your hands. Try to draw them toward the front of your mat as if you're going to draw them out. Draw them over your head. Belly and thighs stay connected. And try to straighten your legs maybe a little bit more. Find a little pulse of the legs, pulsing here, lifting the tailbone, lifting the sacrum, and then bending the knees a little bit, lifting and bending, just inviting the hamstrings to stretch. And then release the hands to frame your feet, just coming into a forward fold. And just let the spine lengthen as it releases out of the pelvic bowl. Find some movement of the head, your yes, your no, your maybe. And again, you can make some noise. And if your hands aren't reaching the floor, then you can use a block, either in the flattest setting or maybe a higher setting, just so you have a little support here. And then take a half lift. So either press into your blocks or bring your hands up your shins, fingertips pressing into the shins to lengthen out. So you're coming with a flat back, activating your core, navel draws in and up. Unshrug the shoulders so they draw toward your hips, reach the crown forward, long spine, and then exhale, release. And again, lift up, half lift, flat back, navel in and up, long spine, root to crown, big breath, and exhale, release. Now we're going to take the feet. So you're going to press your hands into your blocks and let the feet heel toe. So the outer edge of your feet are going to line up with the outside of your mat. So your feet are more like shoulder width apart. All right, we're going to take it into a half forward bend twist. All right, we'll take a few different rounds of that. So your toes are pointing straight up. Press into the blocks just under your shoulders so you come halfway. And then press your left hand into your block and bend your left knee just a little bit. Keep the right leg straight and lift the right hand to the sky. So from your tail to your crown, you're lengthening out. There's a horizontal line and then a vertical line from your lower hand to your upper hand. So you have two axes through the body. Vertical and horizontal. Big breath in and then exhale, release. Back into that half forward fold. Press into the right hand. Just bend the right knee a little bit. Keep the left leg straight and lift your left hand to the sky. So now your left shoulder is stacked on top of your right. And you want to grow a little longer from your lower hand to your upper hand and a little longer from your tailbone to your crown of your head. Big breath in, exhale, release. All right, I'm going to take one each side again. So bend left knee, press left hand into the block, and right hand rises. Right leg straight, long and wide. Big breath in and exhale, release. Other side, press right hand into the block, left hand rises. Right knee is bent slightly, left leg is straight, long and wide. And exhale, release. So notice what's going on with your head. So when you do this, you don't want the head to be flopping down. You want to remember that the crown of your head and the back of your neck is part of that long horizontal line through the spine. Okay, pressing left hand into the block again. This time we're going to take it into a bind for those of you who want to. So bending your left knee, right leg is straight, and come into turning your heart to the right. Go long and wide, and if you want, you can bring that upper hand to the opposite hip. So turn the back of the hand to come to the left hip, either back, just resting the back of the hand to the left hip, or slipping your pinky into the crease of that hip and grab your inner thigh, walking your fingers to the inner thigh, inviting that upper shoulder to roll open as you look up at the sky. Big breath in. That's it. Exhale, release. So that's always an option to take that bind. It deepens your spinal twist and opens the shoulder. Press right hand into the block, bend the right knee slightly, open wide. You can either stay here or take it into a bind. The back of your left hand comes to the right hip, and let it be an invitation to roll the shoulder open, look up at the sky if you can. And if you can, the next level would be slipping the pinky in the hip crease, walk your hand to the inner thigh. That's only if it's available to you. Roll open, look up, big breath in, and exhale, release. Let it all go. Come into a forward bend. And find some movement of the head, any wiggle waggles of the spine. And then pivot on the heels so the toes turn out 45 degrees. Bend the knees, and we're going to roll up one vertebra at a time. If you need to press your hands into your thighs to help you, slowly stack one bone on top of another, building a tower with your spine. Keep the knees slightly bent here and bring your hands to your hips. And we're going to swirl the hips. So opening the hip joints, the low back, the pelvis, just swirling around here. I always tell people that if you feel embarrassed doing this in front of other people, just close your eyes and then we can't see you, right? So it's important this is a place where a lot of us get really, really locked up and tight in the low back and the hips. So we're just inviting some opening here, and then you can start swirling the other way. Breathing in any place where there's tightness or restriction. Coming back to center, keeping your feet in the same positions. We're going to take it into the empty coat sleeves. So some of you here, if you move up, and Betsy, you can move up a little bit, and Gabe, why don't you move up so that nobody's going to thwack anybody. You might want to move up even a little further so that, because we're going to let the movement of the torso, leading with the heart, letting the torso to invite the arms to swing. You are not using your muscles in your arms at all. This is all movement from the torso. And if it's comfortable, you can look over opposite shoulder behind you. If you find that makes you dizzy, then you can keep your gaze fixing straight ahead. And then if you want to take this a little bit deeper, you can lift opposite heel. So you take a little bounce here. And what happens is when you start swinging, one forearm is going to swing around and give a little tap on the opposite kidney. All right. So that gives you a little bit of stimulation. It's the adrenal stimulation. And if you get enough bounce, you can invite one arm to swing over your other arm to your opposite shoulder. Give yourself a pat. So this moves the prana, moves the life energy, and again, takes some spinal rotation here. On the exhale, see if you can give an exhale through the mouth from the belly. So you're going to inhale through the mouth, through the nose, and exhale through the mouth. So it's inhale and exhale. Ha, ha, ha. Make a little noise. Ha, ha. Move that energy. Ha, 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 ha. Slow it down. Let that exhale just soften into a sigh, and very slowly let the body come back into stillness. Just turn your palms open so you're in a little wide leg, like a wide leg mountain pose. And feel all the energy, tingling, and sensation that's moving through you as you invite that prana to flow. heel toe, the feet to hip width apart. I'm going to do one more energizing prana kriya, which is called the breath of joy, which also increases, oxygenates the blood and keeps that life energy flowing and open up, just oxygenate all the cells and brain and moves that prana a little bit more vigorously. So you're going to keep your knees bouncy, so soft knees, and your arms are going to swing forward. Not stiff, but just really loose with the momentum of the swinging of the arms. And then you're going to be swinging sideways, again with a little bounce. So as you straighten the legs, the arms come out to the side. And then the third movement is the arms come forward and all the way up to the sky. So a little bit more energizing here. So when we put it together, you're going to take 3 sips of air through the nose and 1 exhale as you fold forward. Now that fold forward, watch a second. As you fold forward, you can just bring the chin to the chest and let it be a gentle upper back. Those of you who want to take it deeper can bend your knees a little bit more and fold over the legs and let the head go and the arms swing back behind you. So you can take it gently like this or more vigorously if that feels comfortable for you. So it looks like this. Inhale, 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 and exhale. So you're going to exhale through the mouth from the belly. So it's clearing out stagnant energy. So inhale through the nose. Inhale, 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 inhale through the nose, inhale, inhale till you're fully full, and exhale, let it all go. Inhale, 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 through the nose, inhale, and take a little bounce. You don't want to be stiff with your legs. This is called the breath of joy. So think about that childlike, playful energy. With each inhale, drawing in joy and positive energy. Exhale whatever's in your way for living in that joy. Inhale, inhale, inhale. And if you feel dizzy or lightheaded, you can just stop and come back to mountain and just do some standing sun breaths. In through the nose, deep breath, fill all the way up. Exhale completely. Inhale, inhale, inhale. Slow it down. Inhale, 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 inhale. One more time. Inhale, nice and slow. And slowly roll up to come to standing. Take it into a extended mountain. Reach through the right, reach through the left. Palms come together and bring your hands back to your heart, palm over palm. Feel all that life force, that life energy flowing through you. With hands in the center of the chest, touching back into that sun in the heart. Aditya, Hridayam, Punyam, Sarva, Shatru, Vinashana. Just feel all the life force flowing through you, tingling, all that aliveness. We'll do a little standing flow now. Crane, remember we've done crane pose. Soft elbows, soft wrist, soft shoulders. And we're going to flow side to side. So inhale, lift one leg. Standing leg stays slightly bent. Not deep bent, but just unlocked with the knee. Exhale. Shift your weight at the bottom of your breath. Inhale, open. Fix your gaze into a spot on the floor a few feet in front of you. Now you can always do this. Some of you might want to either have a hand on the outside of a chair or a fingertip against the wall if you need to. We're just syncing up movement and breath Inhaling, pulling open your elegant wings. Exhale, rounding the chin to the chest. Crane taking flight. Fixing your gaze in a spot on the floor a few feet in front of you to fix your gaze. Now I'm going to invite you to add another piece to this, to do a crossover. So inhale, one knee lifts. Exhale, cross over and just bring the tippy toes down to the opposite side of your standing foot. Inhale up to center. Exhale back to feet hip width apart. Inhale, lift. Exhale, cross. And exhale, cross the wings. Inhale up to center. So inhale, lift us. Knee to hip height. Exhale, cross over, round the spine, cross the wings. Inhale, center. Syncing up movement and breath. So it's like a moving meditation. Focusing on keeping the breath slow and deep and balancing. Now, the next time you lift your left leg, let that knee just hover right at, hang out there right at hip height, come into your crane. And keep the shoulders and the elbows and the wrists soft. Gaze fixed a few feet in front of you. Now, the next piece of this, for those of you who want to take a little more of a hip opener, come into a figure four, and you might need to have one hand on holding onto the wall or a chair. Come into figure four legs. Maybe you're going to take the other hand to help it have the above the ankle just be a little bit higher on the leg, and hands in prayer. And either you can come into a full squat here, externally rotating, that knee, coming into a little deeper squat. Maybe you'll have one hand holding onto the wall. That's okay. Coming into the balancing pigeon. You really want to externally rotate that knee. Inhale up to center. Spreading your wings. Exhale. And shift to the other side, coming into crane pose. A micro bend in the standing leg, soft shoulders, wrists, elbows, gaze focused on the floor, a few feet in front of you on the floor. Knee stays at hip height. Slow and deep in through the nose. And then if you want to take it into the hip opener, and feel free to hold on to the wall to get yourself steady here. Maybe lifting that lower leg a little bit higher up and coming into a balancing pigeon. So this is a glute stretch and a hip opener here. So the outside of the knee draws down to the floor. Yes. Beautiful. It's also a good leg strengthening here with the standing leg. One more breath here. And then wings open, come back into your crane and come in for a graceful landing. And just shake out one leg. That was good, everyone. I love that figure four balancing pigeon pose. It's a great hip opener and glute stretch. Okay, so from here, I want to take this into a standing warrior pose. And if anyone at home is using or feels or here feels like you want to use the chair, you can always do this behind the chair if you need to be hands on the back of the chair for stability. So that's absolutely fine. What we're going to do is we're going to come into the balancing warrior pose. So there's a few different ways that we come into the warrior pose. Sometimes we have both feet flat. This one, you're actually going to bring the back foot onto the ball of your foot. So it's an actual balance practice here, but it's easier to shine the headlights of your hips straight ahead. So from your mountain pose, slide back about a leg length. You can start with your left leg, sliding your left leg back, and the front knee is right over the ankle, so the lower leg is straight up and down. You want your shoulders over your hips, so notice if you're doing this leaning forward and see if you can have a vertical line through your spine so that your shoulders are over the hips. Tuck the pelvis under a little bit so the pubic bone comes forward and you're lengthening through the low back, rooting down through that tailbone into the earth. You're going to feel a nice stretch in the front of this psoas muscle here. Front knee over ankle. If this front leg gets fatigued, you can straighten the leg for a moment and then come back into it. And start actually with hands on the hips, and we'll just take a little pulsing. So you're going to get down into it, sliding that back leg back a little bit further if you can, and then lengthen up. Exhale. So you're going to straighten the front leg for a moment to rise up. So we're just warming up, opening up, straightening this front leg, taking this stretch in that front of your psoas muscle. And then come steady. So any kind of warrior pose is about your determination and your sense of focus and determination. So bring that into your posture. So you can find a arm position that calls in the kind of strength and determination that you need. So maybe you really want that sense of fierceness, so you can have your hands in this point your fingers to the sky. Maybe you want more celebrative joy energy that you want to bring in, so your hands can be wide. Maybe you want to bring in the goddess energy, the Shakti warrior. Maybe you want some contemplative, prayerful warrior. And then we can all bring the hands back behind and open the heart. Aditya Hridayam Punyam Sarva Shatru Vinyachanam. Courageous, open, victorious heart. Big breath in. Lift the hands toward the back end of your mat, and then release. Bring your hands to your hips and come back to your mountain pose. And you can just shake out your legs. Yeah. All right. We're going to take that the other side now. So feet hip width apart, slide your other side. So let's see, would be your right foot back, right? I'm mirroring, so I get a little confused sometimes. Knee over ankle, hips squared, root your tailbone down. So you're rooting into the earth, reaching up to the heavens through the crown. And we'll just take some pulsing here. So you want to really feel that stretch in the hip flexor, that, yeah, on that back leg. And then stacking shoulders over the hips. Find whatever arm position feels authentic for you. You want to bring in more celebration and joy, more fierceness and focus and determination, more contemplation, more calling upon the goddess warrior. Maybe you want more playful, more humor in your life. Playful warrior. Headlights of the hips straight ahead. You're on the ball of the back foot. Toes pointing straight ahead on both feet. And then taking it into courageous open heart. Aditya Hridayam Punyam Sarva Shatru Vinashanam. Big breath in. Keep the sun in your heart and you will be victorious. And then release. Hands come onto your hips and come back to standing in mountain. Turn the palms open. Just take a moment to standing. Yeah, any wiggle waggles that you want to shake out. Okay. All right, I want to take a couple more standing poses today. So this next sequence, I'm going to invite you to turn sideways on your mat. So turn where you can see me facing, yeah, so where you can see me. And you're going to take from heel to heel about a leg length apart. This is the warrior two pose. And so we're going to begin by just the 5-pointed star. Toes turn out 45 degrees, open through the heart. Just feel that sense of your heart center as being like the epicenter of this pose, and that radiance shining right from that heart center, out through the fingertips, up through the crown of the head, down through the tail into the earth. And relax the shoulders. See if you can let see how much room you had. Sometimes we don't realize how much tension we hold in our shoulders. All right. Big, wide, radiant star. And then arms reach up to the sky, palms come together, and we're going to shift into facing toward your right into warrior two. So your right knee is going to bend, the left leg is going to be straight, and turn the left toes in just slightly. Yeah, so a little bit past towards center. All right, beautiful. Knee over ankle, nice and wide. The heart center. Now notice if you're starting to lean forward into it, you still want that vertical line right from the crown of the head down into the earth. Wide open heart. Shoulders drop down. You're going to fix your gaze over that middle finger. We're going to flow from one side to the other. So inhale, straighten both legs, turn the toes out, palms together, and exhale, other side. And whenever you come into that bent knee, draw the knee toward the pinky toe. And if you're doing this with anyone at home who's using the chair, you can do this behind a chair so you can hold on to if you need to. Yes. All right. Bring your fingertips together so that you have gathering your energy and fingers drawn in, fingers fixed over that middle finger. And I'm going to invite you to just come into a flow side to side. So inhale, at the top of your breath, your palms come together, toes are out 45 degrees. Exhale, pivot the feet so that the heel lines up with the middle of your arch on the back foot. Toes turn. So turn these, you just want to turn your toes in a little bit. Beautiful. Inhale, center, exhale. So we're cultivating the sense of open-heartedness, but also that same quality of strength and fortitude and courage. Warrior two. So flowing side to side, palms come together, exhale. So see if you can take it into a moving meditation. At the top of the breath, palms touch. Exhale, landing courageously and powerfully in your warrior pose. Keeping the hips open to the long end of your mat. And then the next time you come into your warrior pose facing toward your right, you can straighten both legs for a moment just to take a rest. And we're going to come into the archer pose. So when you're ready, you can come back into bending that knee, draw the knee toward pinky toe, and turn the front palm up so that your thumb points straight up. Wrap your fingers around like you're grabbing a bow, and you're going to reach the back hand and draw the bow back. Let that fist follow the line of your arm right through the heart center, reaching that elbow. So lifting that elbow so everything stays in one long line. Focus beyond your thumb, coming into some determination, some wish, something that you're bringing into your mind and heart now. Some intention. Draw back that bow nice and tight. Big breath in and exhale, release. And then turn the front palm up, lift it to the sky. So we're taking a dancing warrior. The backhand slides down the back leg, reach up and reach back. Big breath, opening the ribs on the right side. Exhale back to warrior two. Inhale back to center. Exhale, warrior two on the other side. Nice and wide, open heart. So you're going to draw the knee toward the pinky toe. If you need to take a break, you can straighten one leg and then come back into it. And then turn the left hand so the thumb points straight up. Wrap your fingers around the bow. Back hand draws. Feel the tension of intention as you draw that tight blow back. Draw it right through the heart center. Keep that elbow reaching straight out to the side, right through the heart center. Keeping your gaze beyond your thumb here. Think about your intention, your wish, whatever it is that you're bringing into your mind and heart. Big breath in and exhale, release. Release your hands and reach up into your dancing warriors, like you're releasing that prayer to the universe. Reach up and back. Other hand slides down back. Your leg, exhale back into your warrior two. Come back into 5-pointed star. And then fix to turn your toes to point straight ahead. The outer edges of your feet are now lining up with the outer edge of your mat. And from here, you can either bring your hands to your hips and come into a flat back here, or if you need to, bring a block underneath your shoulders. You're going to take a flat back with a wide legs forward bend. If you want to take it deeper, you can reach your hands out to the side, airplane arms, or you can press your hands into the front, the tops of your thighs to invite a lengthening out. Yeah, you want flat back. So start with your shoulders in line with your hips. So maybe turn your blocks up to the next, so you can, We're coming into a half forward bend here. Long from tail to crown. And then when you're ready, slowly lower the head down. And you can either have your hand on a block or you can have the head on a block, coming into a forward bend, wide leg forward bend, Prasarita Padottanasana. Wide leg forward bend. Just take a few breaths here to enjoy that wide leg forward bend. And we're going to take it from here into a twist. So bring your hands, just like we did before in our warm-up. You're going to press into the blocks and bring the hands under the shoulders onto the block. And this time you're going to keep both legs straight, toes straight ahead. So you're going to keep the sacrum, the low back flat here. Press into your left hand and let the right hand rise to the sky. So we're taking into a twist here. Long and wide. Beautiful. Exhale, release. Press into the left palm. Lift the left hand to the sky. Grow long from the tail, past the crown of the head, and a vertical line through the lower hand to the upper hand, turning your heart toward the left. Big breath, and then exhale, release. And once more, coming into wide leg forward bend, letting the head come down toward the block or toward the mat. Feeling a nice stretch in the backs of the legs, spreading your sit bones wide. And then come back up halfway and bend the knees. So turn the toes out 45 degrees and heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, the feet to hip width apart. And then from here, actually, I'm going to invite you to come right onto your hands and knees and take it back into your child's pose. So find your way to come onto your mat, into your child, and just take a couple of moments of connecting with your breath. That was a strong sequence you just did. Find your breath. Enjoy the stretch through the upper back. It's a way.
Yeah. I didn't think about that. I had no idea I was going to need to use it.
Connecting once more with your breath. Long, slow, and deep, in and out through the nose. And then rising back up into your table pose. Just take some cat-cow here. And we're going to take it from your table pose into puppy stretch. So bring the spine to neutral. And slide the hands forward as far as they will go, melting the heart down. So it's called puppy stretch, or also called heart melting pose. You can either bring your forehead down, or for a little more challenge, bringing the chin down, reaching your tailbone back, your hands forward, melt the heart down toward the mat, and enjoy that wonderful stretch through the upper back. If your head doesn't want to come all the way down, you can place a block underneath your head. Beautiful, nice, long through the back body. And from here, invitation is to lower your forearms and elbows down and draw the upper body forward so you come into your Sphinx pose. Bring your elbows right underneath your shoulders so that your lower arms come into a 90-degree angle. Reach the toes back, place all 5 toes on each foot down into the mat. Energize the legs, so you're going to lift your kneecaps a little bit. So notice if your elbows are back behind your shoulders and move it forward a little bit. So yeah, or you can slide your body back or walk your elbows forward. And notice if your elbows are wide, a little bit too wide from the shoulders. You want that upper arm to be straight up and down. And then from here, you can focus on opening the heart. Plant the feet down, energize the legs, heart forward, toes reach back. This is your Sphinx pose. And you can play with, this is a gentle back bend here. You can play with deepening it a little bit by pressing into the hands and straightening the arms and lifting the elbows either a little bit or all the way. Other thing you can do is bend the knees and bring the tippy toes together and draw the heels close to the low back if you want to invite a little more of a low back stretch and lengthening through the front of the torso. So see what feels nourishing and good for your body here for this back bend. Play with that for a couple more breaths here. Plant the pelvis down into the mat, opening the heart, shoulders back. And then here, we'll take a little bit of core strengthener here. Curl your toes under, press back through the heel. So let the legs lift off as you energize pressing back through the heel. And if it feels available, you can press into the forearm and elbows to come into a forearm plank, long line. And see if you can hold for 3 deep breaths before slowly lowering down. If you need to come down sooner, that's fine, but just do it gracefully, easily. So you're going to activate the abdominal muscles in toward the center. Reach the tailbone back to the back of your mat. And when you're ready to release, slowly float the pelvis down. Roll the torso down and bring the hands under the shoulders. Bring the forehead down. Again, place both feet down. Press all 10 toes in. Snuggle the elbows in toward the body. We're going to take it into the cobra pose. So press into the hands and give a little tug toward the hips with your hands without moving them. Just an isometrical tug to draw the heart forward, squeeze the shoulder blades toward the center, lift. So you can either take a low cobra, just the chest lifting off, or if it's available, coming into a full cobra. If your body is open to that, you're just going to keep the pelvis, stay connected to the mat. Exhale, roll down, forehead down. So we're going to take a few rolls into cobra, lifting. Exhale, rolling down. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, rolling down. And on this next one, see if you can hold for 3 deep breaths in your cobra pose. Some of you might want to reach your hands back behind you and interlace your fingers if you're doing a low cobra, or just reaching your hands back behind you. But see if you can keep all 10 toes down as you do this. Yeah. Lift the edges of the mouth toward the ears. It always makes it easier. When you're ready to release, you can bring one hand and then the other to make a pillow. Turn the cheek to one side and just release. Belly down, relaxing. One cheek resting on your palms. You can bend the knees and just take a windshield wiper. So bend the knees and take the lower legs to move side to side. And then float the feet down, slide the hands under the shoulders, and press up slowly into your table pose. Take a nice cat stretch here. Rounding the spine, nose toward pubic bone, tuck the pelvis under, round the spine, and melt it back into your child's pose one more time. Take a deep breath in and release. So what I'm going to invite you to do now is to come into, I want to see, I think we can make room for everybody here to come into legs up the wall. And from legs up the wall, we can then come into those of you who want to take a shoulder stand from the wall. Okay, for those of you who want to take that. So what I'm going to do is, and for those of you at home, you can find a place in your space where you can bring your legs up the wall. And the way that you do that, so what I'm going to have you is bring your mat just coming straight out from here. And this can be your wall. You just have to be, on the glass there. And you can be, it's okay if you, so you don't want to be right there. You want to be over here so that you're not coming into the, So you can bring, or you can go this way if you want. That's fine. So to come into legs up the wall, the trick for coming up into legs up the wall is you want to sit as close to the wall as you can so that your hip is right near the wall, and come down onto your forearms and let your legs come straight up and kind of scooch. This is the hardest part, is scooching your body around so that your sit bones come as close to the wall as you can. You can rest the heels next to, and then you let the head come down to, So you're going to need to scooch a little bit closer so that your buttocks are right against the wall if you can. So see if you can, take your time. All right. This is a very nourishing calming pose, the legs up the wall pose. You want a neck? We're going to come from here. There's going to be the option to come into, yeah, there you go. There's the option to come into shoulder stand from here, but just take a few moments just to settle in to, this is a very gentle practice of an inversion. As the lower extremities are higher from the hips and from the heart. There we go. I'm just gonna take a moment to just bring your attention to your breath. You can bring one hand to the belly and just notice the movement of the breath moving through you. And you can either choose to stay in this legs up the wall, just like this, if this feels nourishing and good for you here, or you can come into a partial shoulder stand. Some of you who are really comfortable with full shoulder stand can come into a full shoulder stand, but I'm going to show you the way to get into it through stages. So press the soles of the feet. If you'd like to take this, you press the soles of the feet into the wall. Let your knees bend. You don't have to slide your feet down very far because you're going to lift your hips. You're going to press your feet into the wall and lift your hips off of the floor and then bring your hands underneath your sacrum so that you are framing your low back, and tuck as you press into the feet, tuck your elbows toward one another under the body. That's it. So you might want, you want to have your hands here, not on the floor. And maybe it'll just be a little bit of a lifting the hips. Maybe you'll be able to have your hips in line with your knees. So you have your shoulders, hips, and knees in one line. And you're going to press the top of the chest in toward the top of the chest and toward the chin. So you get a little bit of a compression of the thyroid. So you get a thyroid. Squeeze and soak. And you can either stay like this for a few breaths and come out when you're ready, or if you feel comfortable with shoulder stand here, you can either try one leg up in the air off of the wall with a little modified shoulder stand with a little bend in the hips, so you don't put too much pressure on the neck. And if it's comfortable for you and you feel steady and comfortable, you can either alternate legs, or you can place one leg up in the air, both legs at the same time. So you can, yeah. That's it. And it's fine to just keep your feet connected with the wall if you want to do something or more gentle expression. Those of you who are experienced yogis and comfortable with the plow can float the feet down over the head, either with knees bent or straight legs. If you're new at this, it's fine to just keep your feet against the wall. And at any point where you feel ready to come down, you just place your feet back on the wall and slowly straighten the legs. So you can take a few breaths here to explore. Yeah. Lighting in here, it's hard to see, but there's so much sun coming in. I'm not complaining, but beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. So if you're going to come into the shoulder, so you want to have your hands, fingers pointing down, and your palms to frame your low back, and you want to bring your feet back to the wall for a second. Now, before you lift up, tuck your elbows as close together as you can. Yes, that's going to give you better support there. When you feel complete in your shoulder stand and plow exploration, come back into your legs up the wall. So you're going to bring your feet back onto the wall, and slowly, once your feet make connected to the wall, you slowly lower down. But you keep with your legs up the wall. Yeah, that's it. Nice and slow. And then to take a little hip opener, I'm going to invite you to bring the soles of the feet together and open your legs like a diamond. Slide the heels down the wall so they're closest to your pelvis. And you can decide on the shape of the diamond of your legs. And so you want to have the soles of the feet together. Yeah, the soles of the feet together. The soles of the feet touching one. That's it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then press the inside of your thighs or knees toward the wall. And you can experiment with how deeply you want to slide the heels down toward your hips. Just to invite, this is a variation of bound angle pose. Pressing the outside of the knees toward the legs. And then slowly bring the inner thighs together. Hug the legs toward your belly. Give yourself a hug around your legs. So you're coming into what's called Apanasana. And when you're ready, I'm going to invite you to roll onto your side, just so that you can scoot your body back to come flat on the mat when you come into Shavasana. So you can walk your head. You don't have to you can turn around, or you can keep your head facing the center, whatever you're comfortable with here. And find your relaxing and comfortable Shavasana. And if you choose to be in legs up the wall, I can get you a sandbag if you like. Yeah. If anyone would like a bolster underneath your knees. How's that? Better? Bring the backs of the hands to the floor so the palms turn up. Tuck your shoulder blades just a little bit toward one another under the back body so you have that sense of openness in the heart. Let the eyes close. Release any control of the breath. Just let the body find its own natural rhythm, moving in and out of the belly. Letting the feet, the ankles and lower legs softening into the mat. Let the knees relax and release into the mat. Backs of the legs, the thighs, backs of the thighs, front of the thighs, soften and release into the mat. The pelvis and buttocks, hips, low belly softens and release into the mat. Middle back, rib cage, release and relax into the earth. Upper back, shoulder blades, shoulders, chest, sternum softens and releases, letting go into the earth. The upper arms soften and release into the earth beneath you. Elbows, lower arms, wrists. Completely relaxed, let go. Palms, fingers, backs of the hands soften and release into the mat. Back of the neck, the throat softens and release. Jaw, lips, cheekbones, muscles around the eyes and the forehead, brow, temples, back of the skull, sides of the skull, and the top of the skull. Soften and release. Completely release and letting go. From the tips of your toes to the crown of your head. Adityaridayam punyam sarva shatru vinashanam. 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 Keep the sun in your heart and you will be victorious. All evil will vanish from your life and you will be prosperous. Adityaridayam punyam sarva shatru vinashanam. Adityaridayam punyam sarva shatru vinashanam. Let the sun shine. Let the sun shine in, the sun shine in. Let the sun shine. Let the sun shine in, the sun shine in. Let the sun shine. Let the sun shine in, the sun shine in. Slowly begin to deepen your breath. Bring some movement to fingers and toes. Let the head gently move side to side. Any movement that brings you back into your body in present time. And when you're ready, if you'd like to hug your thighs in toward your chest, give yourself an embrace and roll over onto one side. Adityaridayam punyam sarva shatru vinashanam. Adityaridayam punyam sarva shatru vinashanam. Slowly press yourself up to a seated position. And once again, palm over palm, right at the heart center. As a reminder, as that gesture of keeping the sun in your heart. And those of you who wish to can join me in closing our practice with the sound of Om. Namaste. Wonderful. Thank you, everyone. Wow. Amazing light pouring in. And so I think it's a good thing to remember to keep the sun in our heart as we are going into some challenging times, perhaps. Big changes down the pike, I think. So that keeping that sun in our heart, no matter what external darkness may befall us. Namaste.